I decided to show you a different part for the sanding process. I chose this blue part because it shows a lot better on camera or in camera. So what I do, you can hopefully see the line the glue has left as it fused these parts together by melting the plastic, and we have a nice ridge here of glue, and we're gonna sand that down. And for sanding I use these nail sanding thingies. These are quite cool because they're a bit flexible, so you can bend them into shapes, and you can cut them up if you need something with an with an angle to get into recesses and hard to reach parts. And I have 3 different types here. This is a bit rougher, 2 sides, rough, not so rough, and this one is a bit smoother. And then I have this thing here for polishing. It has 3 areas, and each one is a bit smoother, and this is for the polished finish. So let's get to it. Using the coarsest, I think you can say that, the roughest surface first, and just try to sand this flat. This will discolor the surface, because where you have the scratches from the sanding, the color will be different, and so you have a good indication of where to sand and if you're there yet, because the color has to be well, the blue has to disappear almost. These white scratches should be everywhere, so that's an indicator that you are level. So we have to do some more here. Almost there. A little bit. That should do it. Now onto the next file. The other side. Okay, now onto this nail polish thingy. And we're slowly starting to get the real color of the plastic back. Now you can go on like this forever until you have the desired finish, but for our purposes this should be enough, because the primer will get into the little scratches and will fill them up some more, and that way we get an even surface. And as you can see, there is a little line where the fused plastic is. That's glue and fused plastic, and that's what we want. We have a flat surface, nice and even. Don't mind this coloration, it's from the injection point. You can't help about that, but it's flat. And there you have seaming or gapping, the technique is called, with superglue. And now I'm gonna show you another technique for you can use it for filling gaps, or as you can see here, there was an incident or an accident with an ejection point where I cut it off too deep, and there's a little hole there, little dent, and I want to fill that up. So I could actually use some super glue as I did with the gaps, but in this instance I think it's better to use some plastic putty, like for example this one by Vallejo. There are several brands from Tamiya, or I don't know, Gunsu Sangyo. You will find even Revell has some plastic putty, I guess. Now this is already mixed for you, and you just have to squeeze it out of the tube into the hole or the dent. That's what I'm going to try now. Let's have a look. Try some more light. Okay. Just squeeze it in there. And now you can wipe the excess off. And the hole is filled. And now the problem with this putty is that it will shrink a bit when it dries, so you'll have to repeat that process once this is dried. On the plus side, it dries relatively fast. It's on an acrylic basis and non-toxic, which is a big plus, I think. You could also use green stuff. That's epoxy putty. Got some here. Hold on a second. Whoops. This stuff comes in two parts, blue and yellow. There are different colors. You mix them together and it's like a two-part epoxy putty. And it hardens, and it stays quite flexible, but it's mostly used for things like metal figures. I show you this example, like this guy here, Gulvarhar. You can see when you glue and pin on these wings, these heavy solid metal wings. I think now it comes as a in resin, but this came in metal, and so I had to gap these and resculpt them. So for things like this, green stuff is the best way to go. You can see some here, and yeah, it also works on plastic miniatures, of course. Here you have an example of another big beastie. Hold on a second. You'll remember this one, the Balrog. And if I zoom in here, you can see. Woo! Focus? Hello? Focus? Come on. Why doesn't it focus? Ah, there you go. Here you can see another example of gapping with green stuff. Oh, where is he? There he is. Very nice miniature. Okay. You can also sculpt with this stuff, of course, if you like to do banners, for example. This one I sculpted for my Terminators. Another example well, the guy I'm working on, stuff like that. Hold on a second. You probably know what green stuff is. Just wanted to give the people who are not so familiar or not so versed in the hobby a little example. I have some more green stuff here. Maybe I'll show it to you later. Okay. Now this should already be relatively dry, but we'll let it sit for a few more minutes, maybe an hour, and then we can sand it flat and apply a second layer. And I'll show you how that works.